the saying.
And we should be live. Welcome once again to this weekly meeting where we go through the stuff that is new on the cloud. This is Blender Cloud Live. We're live from the Blender Institute in Amsterdam, and this episode we're going to talk about the latest open movie that's happening here at the Institute. It's called Spring. So we have some things prepared with some interviews. Exclusive interviews.
Yeah, and as you can see, I mean, it's not that we just decided to remodel things. We didn't want to hang out on the same couch anymore. There's going to be more people hopefully joining us today. And yeah, it's all about spring.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully we've been addressing some of the technical issues that we had in the past. So now...
Should be fine. We have a bigger space. We moved. No, actually not. But yeah, we try to make this better. Let us know. I'm following the comments, so let us know if everything is alright. The audio is fine and everything it's going well.
Great, yes.
So let's get to it. I've seen a lot of updates in Spring recently. So what is
especially today, like the guys they've been uploading a bunch of artwork. We still don't have the written weekly report because our writer
will be up by the time you see this.
Yeah, exactly. Our writing team was very busy, but yeah, I mean there is lots of amazing things, and we can go over them and learn more about the project, hopefully in a way that we haven't seen before, and.
Or even get people over, get amazing artists to show up.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa.
Jesus. What?
You called?
What
up? Hey.
Nice
What
haircut.
up?
Oh, thanks, buddy. Italian. It's very good.
Gotta shout a bit more to this time.
Woo! Hey.
So,
How are you guys?
this is what you were waiting for. right?
Yeah. So finally, we're gonna talk about Agent 327. Here we go. That's why we put
About
Yeah.
we have the guy.
I just realized
Yeah.
you still have your mug.
Yeah.
The mag is the third,
No.
fourth character in this line.
So not Agent.
Not
Well,
the agent. No, we're
no.
gonna talk about your Frankie or the whole episode. And Tears of
Oh wait,
Dweebs.
the
Dweebs.
Dweebs 3D. Wow.
Dweebs 3D
Dweebs.
coming to you like last week. Yeah.
Actually, it's already out.
So
But
no.
No.
No, well, yeah. What is your role in Spring? We still haven't talked about the project itself, but like basically everyone in the team is working right now on Spring. So what's your role?
To ask Andy about that. I don't know. I'm doing. I guess I'm at least lead animator, and
You can come over here, sit. There is really no like.
No.
sit down.
I'm not worthy.
And you're not wearing
I'm
any
not-
underpants.
no. Also, no regular pants either.
Regular
So yeah, it's the
Technically-
combo. Yeah. You don't want to see.
Okay.
Continue.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So what are
yes.
you doing?
So at least I think lead animator. I don't know. Maybe like it delves into animation director, but then also I'm doing layout, and I've been helping out with the story. So yeah, multiple things, I guess.
Yeah.
What would you call that?
I would call that a small studio that does a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And who is this mysterious writer that's gonna write this amazing blog soon? Is it you?
we don't talk about it.
Okay,
We don't talk
okay.
about it.
Yeah, so many talents here.
Yeah,
Good
well,
stuff. So should I be talking about it at all, or
I
should
think,
somebody more important talk about it?
I think maybe we could get someone like really high end to talk about it. You're not
High-end.
that.
No, it's.
Hi, Anna. What do you mean? Come on.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
tough.
Okay.
Now let's-
I'm
let's
gonna
get-
get Andy. It
Get
may
some.
look like I'm wearing actually pants, but it's just I'm so hairy that
Yeah.
it's.
No, actually,
you know,
if you
kinda-
live properly, you can. Isn't it downstairs? Whoa. Watch out! Don't kick the
Oh
camera.
wow!
Right.
My God!
Cool.
My God!
So
Alright.
Chianti is getting Andy over. Andy is the director of Spring of this open movie. He has been developing this story for a while now, and now it's actually happening. Is there? Well, there.
He's
No,
here.
Yes, you can. No, it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait.
Wow! Nobody saw him coming.
Nobody saw it.
Hey.
All right.
Hello.
Welcome.
So welcome. Who are you?
Okay, let's take
Yeah,
one
that's
step
kind
at
of
a time.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Andy.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just.
I work here.
Yes.
I think you've seen me.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've seen you like 2 episodes ago, like when we were all celebrating happily the release of The Agent and the Dweebs and everything. So, well, thank you again for taking the time to actually, hang out and talk about Spring, because we've been mentioning it, we've been name dropping it over and over and over, and now things are, getting more and more into production, so you're getting more and more busy. And so every moment that we spend here is actually devoted to making film. It's just not just about live streams and podcasts and hanging out and smiling faces. So we really appreciate that.
So this whole episode is going to be dedicated to Spring, this project that it started
last year.
Last year
In October, I think.
Wow.
I think, it was shortly around Blender Conference we made the announcement.
Yeah.
That we started it. And then...
The story development probably even
I'm totally blanking on it right now because it's like, it feels like 2 years already.
Yeah, because actually, like what I know is that there is a bit of background, right, to the Spring story itself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we here in the studio we tend to have these story meetings every once in a while. So we would all like kind of get together and research how to do story development and do courses, but also pitch our own stories. And I think at some point, like I pitched a story to you, and then like you told me, hey, you should like bring it into the story meeting, and that's kind of what I did. And from there on, we just like kept developing it and added details to it, and I wrote a script, sort of, and then at some point I pitched it to the team and everyone here, and Ton was also there, and people seemed to like it, so now we're making a movie out of it. That's great.
That's so cool. It actually happened in this place, in that screen. I remember you were there.
With this amazing echo here.
Yes.
Yes, and as we were talking, actually, Pablo was showing some of the pictures that are available on the cloud. Like this is some amazing concept art by David Rigois, who has been involved as art director for the project.
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking that while we go through this, maybe you could give us like a brief synopsis of what the Spring story is. It's written on the website. It says that you are written and directed by Andy, but we want to hear it first from you, live.
So what is it? Spring is the name of the movie, and
but also like right now it's a kind of a working title. We might change it later on. It's kind of a catchy like thing, but it's also the name of the main character. And the main character is a girl named Spring, and she has a little dog, and they're kind of shepherds, and they live in the deep high mountains, and their job is to take care of these strange looking creatures that are kind of like sheep, but not really. They're like these big well, I don't want to say monsters, but they're these big things that live in the clouds, and and that's where the story kind of kicks into place.
So it's very fantasy.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the word fantasy, but it's kind of fantasy. It's kind of a fairy tale, so to speak. So it obviously there's no giant monsters, but but it's very deeply rooted into European landscapes. You know, I'm from close to Switzerland, so I used to go to the mountains and the Alps every once in a while, and I really like this the sort of feeling you have there, where you're kind of remote, you're away from civilization, and you're just in awe because like this big environment is all around you, and you don't like you feel like you're just like a tiny little speck in something really big, and I think that's also the feeling that I really want to like convey with this film, that it's like we're all part of something bigger.
Yeah.
And two things comes to mind, like when I'm looking also at this kind of artwork. One is that of course like because of this nature, because of kind of taking this fantastical take on the real and awe-inspiring nature, like the feeling of the movie is going to be like something in that direction. Like it's almost going to, it's very immersive. It's not that stylized. Like it's right. Is going to have that.
Well, I mean, like you said, we are really fortunate to have David Revoy, David Revoy, on this film. So hi, David, if you're watching. Sorry for butchering your name. Like from the get-go, I really wanted to involve him because I really love his style. I love what he's doing with Pepper and Carrot, the webcomic. And so this film is going to be like really strongly featuring his particular style. A little bit of my own kind of sensibility for something a bit more realistic or so. But we're kind of like we want to achieve something that's kind of in his universe. So it's
universe,
so it's stylized, but we're hoping that with the texture and everything, we are really like planning to go somewhere really really detailed and really rich.
Yeah, and also like for example for the design, the character design itself, like Spring herself, like you really feel like okay, she's someone that comes out of the universe that that David made, and at the same time when you see it in 3D, it's getting that kind of very nice treatment of characters that we've seen in past Blender open movies. So it's great to see this kind of crossover.
And it's great to finally see his style like actually being more true to what he's used to do it, because he also was the concept artist and the art direction for Sintel. But at the end in the 3D version it ended up like it was based on his stuff, but it was also different. But now this is more
we're hoping to do a bit more justice, but of course there's some things you can't really do with 3D that fits into like he is totally like he designs in a very adaptable way, so you can totally take it into 3 dimensions and it works, but still it's a drawing, so you're never gonna get like 100% of that. But we're about to try, so we'll see how far we get.
And the graphics part, the visuals part of this film is only half or even less than half of it, right? Because it's also very linked to what music and
I mean, it's a very like it started out as this really simple idea of only like a 4-minute film or so, and of course like it's expanded and everything like everything that we do here, but I thought it would be great to make something that kind of is like a musical piece that like Fantasia or so, or like or like musical films, like not where people start singing or so, but something that uses the music to help the storytelling in a way. We're hoping that we have like this symphony that has a beginning and end and a middle part and the dramatic part. So that's the idea, that the music is kind of the driving factor behind it.
I wanted to add something like about the story itself, like because you mentioned who Spring is and where she does and what happens to her, and I thought it's very interesting because in this entire process on the Blender Cloud we've been very open and revealing about everything that is happening.
We just put everything there.
Just put everything, and I mean if you really want to know what the story is about, you can go and find out. But even like in the images, the more prominent content, we're really not shying away or hiding anything. In the past, in past projects, was really like, okay, no, let's like keep this thing safe and prevent big spoilers. And in this film, it's kind of different, because even if you see what's going to you can say a lot about the film, but then still you have to see it to really experience it. And that's a cool thing, because the film is really going to be this almost not really a documentary, because it's not, but like it's almost that feeling like you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be there and you're gonna witness this thing happening.
And like even I know where it's going, or I know kind of what the story is, but like, man, I want to see that. I don't think I think that the moment when you watch it, that's when you fully get it. Also.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
So yeah.
So how long is it right now? Like in which part of the process are we now?
So
Story's there.
yeah, the story is there. It's locked. The like and the kind of up to New Year, we were working on refining the story and doing storyboarding. And from that point on, we kind of made a rough animatic. And right now we're in a kind of rough layout, sort of. So it's like we're really loose. We're thinking about set design, camera placement, but we're basically just copying what's there in the animatic. And from that on, we're gonna make decisions like: are we gonna add some shots? Are we gonna is the tempo working? Because in the storyboards, it's just a lot of drawings. Nothing is animated or so. So that's where you can really refine things in in the layout phase. So that's where we're at currently, and I think at the end of the month we have to be done, right?
We have
With
ambitious
the
plans.
yeah.
So, like we were just talking about it today, like about there is lots to do, but one of the idea, like the current plan, is that by the end of this month we should aim at wrapping things up at first pass on the layout of the film.
It's really rough characters, like moving from one expression to another or sliding from places to like in and out of shots. So it's like really, really rough. So just to get the basic bare bones of what we want to tell, and then we're gonna like continue refining that.
Yeah, like for example, to make sure, okay, can the character cross the screen in this amount of time?
Yeah.
Right? Or do we need to make the shot already longer or shorter? Does it work? Like, is this emotional beat working? And so on. So
exactly.
for the animators, is very useful because they can already start testing for the pose library, so they can see, like, just put quickly basic facial poses on the character to show the emotions and the beats that the character goes through in every shot. And just get a whole sense for what the film is. And next to that, you also have something else to think of, to take care of.
Oh yeah, the look of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
We were going to keep this thing very upbeat and happy.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work, of course, but it's very important.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I have this rough idea in my head how it's going to look like. Of course, like this idea is totally different from the execution part. So how do we get there? How do we make everything work? And like in the past couple of days, it's just been apparent to me that this is so huge, like in terms of the work that needs to be done to do this. Because I mean, we've the biggest thing of this movie is of course the environment and the elements, smoke and like how do you create the depth and the detail and of everything, and you want to create a world that feels alive and that has all these details. So that requires a lot of research, development, and work,
and as we were saying also today, is the combination of achieving visually what you want in one picture, which I mean is not necessarily easy, but like it's one way is to think it in those terms, like okay, let's make really, really final looking almost concept art, and one thing is let's make something that I can actually play in a shot and can be mass produced in 20 other shots, and that can render in less than a day, and that doesn't have to be painted over.
I mean, you can bash a lot of stuff together and make an image out of it, but that's not how movie productions work, where you have to make sure that it's a thing that you can reuse and that it works in multiple lighting scenarios and so on. So yeah.
Are you reusing anything from previous open movies?
Nope. No, that's
just knowledge.
Yeah.
Just
a raw experience. Yeah.
yeah.
No, that was the thing. Like with this project, I said, okay, let's not reuse a lot of the stuff we've made. Like we're reusing some of the things. Like we're using the excellent texture library that's on the cloud, like for everything, and some of the ideas that we like, some of the experience that we had from past films. But yeah, during the projects, I realized that we've been reusing things, like they're the same rocks from Cosmos Laundromat and from Caminandes in there, and then
Yeah.
the grass, we reuse them, and the buildings from the agent. So yeah, with this I wanted to just throw
Change,
everything out
yeah.
and make something new.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we've been looking at your the awesome grass like tests that you did like in the past weeks.
Yeah.
But it's like and you know, like Blender changes, like the particle system. Okay, is a tricky topic. We are not going to discuss too much
Let's
in this.
not go there.
Let's not go there. But like you know, you got something new like that. You're trying. Like, is it just that you're trying like a different approach? Like, are you taking what you did for Cosmos Laundromat and just, you know, changing the design of the grass itself, or is it like also you're trying a completely different way to put grass there?
I mean, okay, so first thing, like just on the look
Yeah.
point of view, like this movie is going to be different from the past movies that we've done before, and it's true, like in Cosmos Laundromat we had a lot of grass, and that was kind of the main thing, that we had this island with grass, and we had these sheep with hair, and Victor with hair, and everything was
Tornado.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, the tornado. And so we have to obviously kind of do it the same way. So we are using particle systems to distribute the grass, and just use it to instance grass meshes and that kind of stuff. So we're using the same idea that we kind of developed back then. We can't use the full system because there are we used a different version of Blender back then, and some things are not possible anymore. So but we're kind of trying to make it a bit better also. So yeah.
Like
I don't know what
in
the
the
question
upcoming, no, that's it's cool. It's cool. Like I'm just wondering, like in the upcoming month of, you know, visual development work, or like, you know, given the current situation, what do you think is going to be, you know, what is going to take you the most? What is your biggest concern at the moment for the production, for yourself, like as a task?
You mean what isn't? Like everything is. So,
Exactly. So what is the biggest?
Okay.
You
So
know?
I mean, right now we're a pretty small team, and that's kind of the biggest challenge, because we have so many things to do. I mean, we have two amazingly talented animators, Pablo Fournier and Hjalti Hjarmarsson. So and they're doing layout right now, so that's totally like perfect and everything. But then there's just a lot of stuff to do, and like techniques to develop. Like we have to have a forest with trees. Trees have to move, and there has to be wind. Everything is frozen, so there's a lot of ice in there. Then there is grass, and there's big environments and mountains. There's going to be clouds, big thick layers of clouds, and
the environment
fog.
also, I guess, will change. The characters will change.
Yeah, the characters not so much, but yeah, the environment is going to go through like some changes.
Yeah.
So, but that's a small thing towards the end of the film, but it's mainly just like the
It's a variation. If you make a tree, you have to make a different tree. If you make a
right, yeah.
It's like the agent. He
But
only got cut a few times, and it was.
Yeah, but once you have that's not the thing I'm worried about. The thing I'm worried about is just the depth of variety that we have to deliver, and just like the scope of the whole thing, like make a big mountain environment or that kind of stuff.
We have plenty of time, right?
So much, yeah. No
Like-
problem, yeah.
Who is like? What's the deadline? Who's running after us? Well, no, don't
Yeah.
answer.
Yes. So, but
Yeah.
there are, you know, this is like the beginning.
So a lot of technical challenges.
lots of technical
So
challenges.
that's the main thing, and of course that I've never really directed a film before. I worked 5 years on a stop motion film.
Yeah.
5 years.
You directed.
I kind of directed it.
Yeah.
I co-directed it
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
But yeah, I had 5 years to finish it. Now we don't have 5 years. So
Yeah. Okay.
so yeah, I'm just
So
like,
I think that the biggest challenge in the end comes down to combining these different roles that
Yeah.
are all have
Yeah,
their
totally.
own challenge.
I have no idea what I'm
on
doing.
top of that, because for example in past productions, like for the agents, like your role, like there was a lot of demand and expectations about the visual development and being like, okay, how is the agent going to look like, this guy? There was no really good version of him, so you really need to develop it.
There was a version of him.
Yeah, but then you worked on it for a long time, and it was one of your main focus almost, next to establishing how the world looks like. But at least you didn't have to worry about all the direction, like how the story was
Yeah.
developing and all that kind of stuff. So that was helpful in a way.
Yeah.
Now you don't have that luxury.
Right now, it's like really like every day I have to find out how to balance, working with the animators, how to to achieve like a certain shot, and then working with Julian, who is doing the character design and character work and everything.
Yeah.
And then working with myself, then I also have to do something. So yeah, it's just a lot of different hats you wear
Yeah.
on these type of productions.
There are a few questions online, so I don't know
Sure.
if you want to ask any.
No, let's
Anything else?
let's go.
We can jump into the interactive part. Otherwise, why would we make it a live stream if it's not live, right?
Stream.
Question.
Boring.
First question. What Blender versions are you using in Spring at the moment?
We are using
Good question.
We're using 2.8, obviously. No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what version are we using and what we should be using and what we are going to use?
Yeah. So
Wow, that's
what we're using right now is Blender 279
Master?
Yeah.
Master. Yeah.
like
wha-
the
whatever is
latest.
whatever is out there currently, and we will be switching to 2.8 eventually. ASAP. Yeah.
ASAP.
Like tomorrow if it was for me.
No,
Yeah.
there are news regarding that. I saw a tweet from the CEO of the Blender Foundation
Yeah.
teasing some 2.8 news.
Something is going to happen with
Something
2.8.
else going to happen. Maybe we should wait
Yeah.
a
that.
bit. Yeah.
Maybe.
For that, and
Yeah.
then use Blender 2.8,
Yeah.
or use it in the meantime and fix it.
Oh yeah, like every day I try to open it and see what's new and play around with it.
Yeah.
It works great. Like
Yeah, no, the developers are still working, but I'm actually using it also all the time.
I've seen
I'm
you
providing
using
some-
it
I've been using
recently.
it quite, yes.
Yeah, you've been
yes.
doing actual stuff like F12 renders. Does a 2.8 have F12 or?
It has F12, even Eevee has F12. You can go to Eevee, press F12 and it renders from the camera.
Wow.
No, it's not an OpenGL render, it's an actual render.
Okay.
So that's one of the greatest things that is going on. So 2.79, then master basically, and then Blender 2.8. Good.
Okay.
Nice. How do you guys do the scaling? Because those concepts look huge environment. How do you
Yeah.
do the scaling? What scale? Is it a real scale?
yeah, we're just using the default scale that we've been using in the past projects. So it's one Blender unit is 1 meter in real life, and we're trying to scale everything pretty accurately too, just to get the what's it called,
Foreground? No.
to get the relations right.
The
Everything,
proportions.
yeah, the proportions right. Everything is kind of at the right scale. So we have mountains that are pretty damn big.
Many thousand Blender units.
Yeah. So we'll see. And then, I mean, right now that's just for the planning phase. I can imagine that we just have to see and cheat things for the shot later on,
Yeah.
just to get it renderable. But yeah.
I already heard Hjalti like yesterday saying, "Hey Andy,
Yeah,
can I move this mountain?"
well, our camera clip end is currently like 5,000 or so at a maximum.
Yeah. Okay.
Might need to make that a bit bigger. Somebody's asking if we are. Sekim is asking if even if Eevee is used, would you use the regular node compositing part? So one question is if it's Eevee
Mhm.
be used for pre-visualization, I guess yes.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
There's no other way.
Yeah.
And 2.8 is just Eevee mainly. But then, are you gonna use compositing? You think you're gonna use regular node-based compositing?
Yeah. So for the film, to render the film, I would love to use Eevee, but I think right now it's just not
Too early.
Yeah. Well, it's not too early, but it's the same problem as with other, like with game engines, that you can get a pretty amazing image, but you can't get it there without any errors, without any clipping problems, without anti-aliasing problems, just because it's made to render really fast. And so yeah, we obviously want to have images that are without these artifacts and so on.
Yeah.
So we're going to use cycles for the final rendering and most likely compositing. Yeah.
Awesome. Next question. Noel Belic asks, I read a tweet from Troy Sobotka like a month ago about the assets and shaders. Are you working with him in this short to improve the color management in 2.8?
Yeah, I don't know of any plans to improve the color management in 2.8 right now. Maybe you have more.
I only know that that is never good enough.
Yeah.
I fixed the thing, but it's never good. So the ones in GitHub, they're still like the good ones, not the ones in Blender. But I don't know. I haven't tried them yet.
Yeah, we're using the whole Filmic pipeline right now, and we are making sure that like during asset creation, everything is like we browse everything under multiple lighting conditions, so we make sure that everything works for that kind of workflow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And during the production of the agent, for example, Troy was involved, and he gave us great feedback and advice, and he helped us during the, especially in preparation for the grading of Agent 327. So like we are of course in touch with him, and we are always happy to work with him because he has great insight in this very highly specialized topic.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get right, or maybe it's very easy to get right if you know it inside out like he does. But then applying this to Blender, it's not always the most straightforward.
I totally have to write him, but I just couldn't get that hat on.
Yeah, of course. yeah.
Okay.
Well, first of all, there is like somebody trolling like. Who is this guy? Hjalti?
Yeah, I don't know. This guy is trolling
Like-
about the audio
okay.
sync. Is it the audio off sync?
Like, I don't
Like,
understand.
How much is it? Like, how many milliseconds you...
I mean,
Mayor?
somebody's saying 7 seconds, so it's like 7,000 milliseconds, I
What,
guess.
7 seconds?
I don't know. Yeah, somebody says.
7 seconds? Like, are you serious? Anyway, next question, 7 seconds apart. I want to keep moving the mouse just to mess.
Yeah.
Now, Lopo Fernandez asked, could this plot, the plot / story change as the movie is developed? Do you think is there only one ending thought already, or do you have many endings?
Alternative endings.
Alternative endings.
Oh, okay. No, right now we have one ending. We did all the story development in the past year, so hopefully it's not going to change a lot. Like there might be some things changing based on shots or sequences if things don't work out. But yeah, first we have to see how the whole thing works in the layout, and then it might be total crap, so we have to change everything. But
I'm pretty sure, like about the ending for this film, it's quite like linear.
Yeah.
Like the story is about something that has
Spoiler
to happen.
alert.
Ah, okay.
it's about something.
that has to happen.
Yeah,
Let's say
it will happen. Yeah, and that's gonna happen. So yeah.
without spoiling it too much.
Trailer of spring, when?
Soon,
Soon,
Well.
ish.
as soon as possible.
Any news on Blender cloth system? Are we going to use cloth?
Actually, you've been using cloth,
In quotation marks, yeah.
like actually, or
Yeah,
cloth?
we haven't used any of the improvements that Luca Roth made for Agent 327 because his work is still in a separate branch. I think it's already in 2.8. So as soon as we switch to 2.8, it might just we might work with it.
Yeah.
But currently we've just been working with the normal cloth, and our characters won't have cloth simulation on their clothes most likely because that's just a whole other topic, and you really need a guy to work on that, just on that for the whole for the whole production full time, and I don't think we can afford that. But we will use cloth for to make overlapping actions for animators easier to animate. So things like Spring's hair and little strings swaying in the wind, or even the grass is going to have cloth sim, and we'll find a way to bake it into the scene as we go. But yeah, no cloth on the character so far.
No cloud. Then caustics plan to be implemented into cycles. Now,
But caustics isn't cycles, right?
caustics. It is, yeah,
you mean,
but
you mean the noise button,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
The fireflies.
Hi and congratulations for this project. Can you explain a little bit more about the post library? Maybe we can get is there an Icelandic watching this? That happens to be in the studio right here.
He's going to be like me. It's like I can
Yeah.
explain it, but
Because it's asking about the post library. There is a motion trail and
wow, all topics that are very dear to our animation
very
team.
dear to animation team. Yes, motion trails.
Motion trail, they're gonna be implemented in 2.8, right?
Hopefully,
Yeah.
we don't.
Do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Do the characters speak in the short?
Nope.
Silent.
Uh,
Do they sing?
They don't sing. No singing.
Do they dance?
They, well, they
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
They might dance. Yeah. But
All right. That's the questions for now. I think if the Icelandic is not gonna show up, Hjalti, animator, the one that was here. No, I'm not calling every Icelandic. Sorry about that. I think we can start either wrapping up.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, there is one more question. Final question. Are you gonna
Hair
read it?
simulation. Is Spring and the dog going to have hair simulation?
Sorry.
short answer.
Short answer is
Yeah, no, yes, no.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
We probably won't have we probably won't have hair in the way that we had it for Cosmos Laundromat, because that was a totally separate system and was designed just for this film.
Yeah.
And since then we've always avoided it because we don't have the technology to make that happen again. It's been lost.
So once in
It's-
a lifetime.
It's been like it's gone.
It's not entirely gone. If somebody really wanted to go with a little shovel digging.
if you dig into Blender, what was it? 2.6.7,
Which one?
2.4,
Yeah.
2.3. No,
Wait.
Some branch somewhere.
the gooseberry branch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because okay, well, I mean, the long answer is that it's really hard to make that work in the way that we've been working on, because the idea behind our pipeline is that you have a file where the character is from, and then you link it into the shot, so the data is still referenced from the character file.
Yes.
And all the simulation normally happens, can only happen locally in your current file. And if you have linked data, that's going to be really difficult, unless you use a system like Alembic, where you can cache your current scene, and then you can you have your cache local, and then you can do your simulations based on that. We did some tests for Alembic export during the agent.
Yeah.
And we used it for the cloth, like exporting the cloth from one blender into the other blender. But we didn't try it for the whole character. For the whole character, there are some limitations, especially for the hair, because Alembic supports hair export, so it's gonna export all the curves, but you're gonna have a mesh with like 10,000s of curves in there, and Cycles cannot interpret the curve primitives as hair primitives during render time, so that's a whole other issue. What we might do is keep the hair static, but rig it with armatures, and then use sort of cloth simulation technique that we do locally on the file, on the armature that is linked, and we bake the animation to the action locally, and that's gonna work.
And then apply to the armature,
Yeah.
so that it will deform the hair, which is going to actually
Yeah,
be
and
rigged.
it's gonna look like simulation because it's based on simulation.
Yeah.
But it's actual animation data that can be tweaked by the animators.
And this was actually something very exciting to see. You did some tests like a couple of weeks ago, and I think once you get back onto that topic, we totally want to see this like in a little, breakdown on the cloud, and it's like perfect.
if you want to
kind
learn
of
how to
thing.
do this, just wait until it actually happens, and then it's gonna be a tutorial on Cloud or Blender or something.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
great. It's gonna be great, like real life
Yeah.
hacking of.
Oh, it'll
hair
be fun.
simulation.
I was amazed because I never thought of this before, and like it's not a totally new technique
Yeah.
because people have been like rigging hair before, and they've been like deforming the rig with Glassim meshes, but like the way to bake the actual animation locally,
Yeah.
that's something new and exciting, and I
Yes.
hope it works.
Yes.
Yeah, stay tuned for
Sure
that.
hope.
Awesome.
That is the last question. So I think we can wrap this up. Keep it short.
Yes, let's do that. And thanks a lot for joining us. Thank you, Andy,
Thank you, Andy.
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank
Coming
you.
And,
over to our living room.
Yeah. Next
It's very
time, I think we're gonna talk a bit more about Spring, like the animation post. Like there were some more questions.
Yeah,
I
the
think
post
having-
library, we can talk about it next
Yeah.
week. We can even demo maybe.
Yeah.
We
We can fix our never seconds 9 seconds delay
9 seconds
thing.
delay is going, it keeps going up.
All
We're
right.
gonna fix
Well,
this
then let's wrap this up before it gets to 10.
because
So
it gets, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, tune in next week. Let us know in the comments if you want to. Is anything specific that you want to cover? We're gonna go through the post library like we mentioned. More Spring going on. Maybe there is hero stuff going on.
yeah.
So yeah, maybe there's the 2.8 thingy happening.
Well, yeah.
So yeah,
Who knows?
leave a comment and see you